So you may have already noticed this, that you're able to actually copy text out of photographs. So you can easily do this if just taking your photo within Photos, you can take a photo or a screenshot and you can copy all of the text that's in that image. And then you can paste it in any program you want to, if you want to do it in a word processor or in Notes or an email, that kind of a thing. And then the thing that's really amazing about this is then you're able to delete those screenshots or those photos of these kind of non-photos out of your photos library where they probably shouldn't be in the first place. A lot of times I try to encourage people to not take photos in their Apple Photos library to begin with of this kind. It's better to use maybe Notes, or if you're using a note-taking app like Evernote or Notion, just to take the photo directly into that. But sometimes we're in a hurry and it's just a lot easier to take a photo with your camera just normally and have it go into your photos library. Well, what's really great about this is now you can just extract the text, put it where it actually really belongs, where you can really access it, and then get rid of that photo so it's not clogging up your photo library. So I'll show you some different examples. So like, for example, here, if you want to be able to translate some text from a photo, this is a photo I took of, I don't know, some apple something in Dutch, and I need to use this a lot. Unfortunately, I have not learned a lot of Dutch yet, but I'm getting there. So now what I can do is I can highlight this text and then it's translate it right there. This is just text that's within a photo and it's actually able to recognize the text. So I'm able to translate it this way. Another really cool idea is, let's say you're on a trip and you see a sign like this one here, which is in our little village. It's about our village Velden in the Second World War. And I've really been curious to know what this says because it's got a lot of really interesting photos and text. It has some Americans coming over and, I don't know, doing something I don't know yet. So now what I can do is I can take a photo of this and be able to extract the text from it and translate it. So that could be really helpful if you're doing some genealogy research, you're going on a trip, you're on a vacation, and you see one of these informational things, but you don't know what it's saying. Now you'll be able to just copy that text and translate it using your computer. But I think there's a lot of applications for this. I've had clients who just have hundreds of recipes. They love to cook, so they've taken photos of recipes, maybe out of a cookbook or a screenshot that they've seen. Needlepoint, a person had a lot of needlepoint patterns, but they're really hard to use. As a craft person myself, it's really hard to take a photograph and try to follow along a pattern that's in a photo. But if you can actually extract that text and put it into a program where you can highlight things or make edits or do things like that, that makes it a lot more useful. And then you're getting that out of your photos library. So I really think live text would be something to experiment with if you think that could be useful to helping you organize your photos and clean things up a bit. So I do a quick how-to. Again, I won't go through this too much here, but at least you'll have this as something to refer back to. But basically, whether you're on your phone or here in Apple Photos, you just find something that has text. For example, I'm using this awesome chocolate chip cookie recipe. And you will see at the bottom right-hand corner, there's this little text icon. In this example, it's blue because I've already clicked on it, but it'll show up anytime it recognizes text in your image. So that little icon will show up. You'll just click on that and change it to blue, and it'll show all of this text that it has recognized, that is detected. So at this point, you can choose just some of the text. You don't have to choose all of it and then copy it and paste it. Or at the bottom left, you can see where it says copy all. And that way you can copy all of the text really easily without having to go through and highlight anything individually. And then you can just paste it into whatever program. All right, so the other cool feature is that now you can also do this in videos. So you can just pause a video wherever it is. And if you see some text, you can just copy the text in that. So for example, I went to YouTube and I went to Apple and I was just looking through their different videos, and here was one that had some text on it. So I paused the YouTube video and I copied this text and just pasted it right here into my Keynote. What's really crazy about this is, if you think about it, think of the different times that you might take photos that aren't photos. You're trying to get information. Maybe you're watching a video on YouTube that's an informational video, and there's a slide or an image or something that has some points on it. I don't know if if you're like me, I'm constantly taking screenshots of that kind of thing. Well, now you don't have to do that at all. You can just pause the video and just copy the text straight from the video without doing that intermediate screen share, dragging it into wherever it needs to go. And then you don't have a bunch of screenshots clogging up your computer. So this is a really interesting feature to try if you want to try and cut down on some of those extraneous screenshots and things that end up in your photo library. All right, one last thing. I'm just mainly talking about the macOS, not the iOS, which I should make the distinction is the operating system for all of the like devices, the iPad, the iPhone. But this is so cool that I had to share it. So if you're doing live text on an iOS, I'm doing the same photo that I showed you earlier of the chocolate chip cookie recipe. But here, if you notice, it has actually identified temperatures and amounts, volume. And what you can do now is just tap on one of those things that's identified, and it actually converts it for you. So this is a huge deal for me. Of course, again, living in Europe now, all we have are our U.S. measuring cups, so it's all in ounces and pounds and everything. But now all I have to do is tap on this, and I can easily convert things into Celsius or grams or kilograms or whatever. So I just thought that was a really interesting feature that I didn't even know existed up until a few days ago that I wanted to share with you all.